You know what no one tells you about men? They might act like they've got it all figured out in bed, like they're the ones running the show, but deep down, most men are just silently praying that the woman they're with knows how to move. Because for him, it's not just about the act, it's about the feeling, the rhythm, the emotion behind every move you make. You could be the most beautiful woman he's ever touched, but if you don't understand how he wants you to move on him, something always feels missing. So let's talk about that, how he actually wants you to thrust. Because yes, there's a rhythm to desire, and when you understand it, you'll have him melting under you, craving you even after it's over, addicted to the way you make him feel. See, most people think what turns a man on is how hard or how fast you move, but that's not true. What actually drives him crazy is when you feel him. When you slow down enough to understand the tempo his body is begging for, when you move like you're listening to his breath instead of trying to perform like you're in a movie. Men are not as complicated as you think, but they crave something deeper than they'll ever admit out loud. They want a woman who moves with intention, who doesn't just ride his body, but raids his energy. That's what he remembers. That's what keeps him obsessed. Let's start with the first thing most women don't realize. Key point vaiwen A. It's not about dominance, it's about rhythm. When a man feels your body sensing with his, something primal clicks inside him. You could call it chemistry, but it's more like harmony. It's like two waves crashing at the same pace when you're on top and you just move wildly trying to impress. Most guys actually lose the emotional connection. He might still finish, but he won't feel you. But when you move like you're dancing with him, matching his breath, slowing down when he tenses, teasing when he exhales, that's when he starts to crave you. The rhythm of your movement tells him something, that you're not just there for release, you're there to experience him. Men want to feel chosen, not used. And when your rhythm says, I feel you, that's when he falls. So the secret isn't to move faster, it's to move with him, like you're tuned into the same song. That's when the connection hits his brain and his heart at the same time. K point type 2A, it's not about how much you move, but how present you are while you do. You can be the slowest woman he's ever been with and still drive him insane if he can feel that you're lost in the moment. Presence is rare. Most people get in their heads during sex, wondering how they look, if they're doing it right, if the other person's satisfied. But the hottest thing to a man isn't the motion, it's your attention. When you're on him and you lock eyes, when your breathing matches his, when you bite your lip because you can't handle the feeling anymore, he loses it because that's the moment he realizes you're not performing, you're surrendering. You're not doing it to please him, you're doing it because you're turned on by him. That difference is electric. It tells him that what's happening between you isn't mechanical, it's emotional, physical, spiritual, all at once. See, men crave validation too. They want to know they can still make you feel something real. When he sees you lost in it, not faking, not forcing, but feeling, that's when he feels powerful, desired, alive. And ironically, when he feels that, he starts giving you more pleasure too. That's how it becomes a loop of connection instead of just friction. So next time you're on him, don't overthink it. Don't worry about being perfect. Feel his chest rise beneath you. Feel his hands grab your waist tighter. Listen to the way his breath stumbles when you slow down. That's your rhythm guide. That's what tells you what he needs. And the more you tune into that, the more addictive you become. Because it's not your moves that make him remember you. It's the meaning behind your moves. The way you make him feel seen and wanted. That's the kind of intimacy he'll replay in his head days later. You want to know why men say some women are unforgettable. It's not because of their looks or what tricks they used. It's because for a few minutes, that woman made them feel like they mattered, like she was fully there, fully into it, fully present. And when you can give that energy, you become the standard no one else matches. The truth is, thrusting is communication. It's your body speaking to his without a single word. And when your body says, I see you, I feel you, I want you, he'll never forget how that felt. Because in that moment, you're not two people trying to impress each other. You're two people connecting. You're building a rhythm only you two understand. That's the magic men won't talk about, but they all crave. Now let's dive into what most women never even think about when it comes to this. Because the truth is, every man has a rhythm that comes from his emotions, not his body. You can touch his body all night, but if you don't touch his emotion, he'll still walk away feeling something was missing. That's why even after the hottest nights, some guys still go quiet afterward. It's not that they didn't enjoy it, it's that they didn't feel fully met. When you're in that moment, how you move on him isn't just physical, it's emotional storytelling. Your rhythm tells him if you're connected, if you trust him, if you're surrendering, or if you're holding back. He can feel the difference between a woman who's just moving for stimulation and one who's moving because she's letting go of control. That's the real turn on. And that brings us to key point Fen 3. He wants your movement to be an invitation, not a performance. See, a lot of women think men want to show, that loud, wild, dramatic, but a real man, one who's emotionally present and not just chasing ego, wants something more grounded. He wants to feel invited in. When you move in a way that feels like you're guiding him in, like you're saying, I trust you, I want you here, you create a completely different type of connection. It's no longer about who's doing what, it's about the flow between you two. Think of it like this: every time you move your hips, every time you change your rhythm, it's like you're whispering something without words. When you slow down and grind deeper, you're saying, stay here with me. When you tease by pulling away slightly, you're saying, I want more of you. When you press your chest against his, you're saying, I feel safe with you. That's what he craves. Not perfection, not choreography, just real energy. He wants to feel that your body is speaking directly to his instincts, not his eyes. And when that happens, something primal awakens in him. You can literally see it in his face, the shift from lust to awe. The moment he realizes this isn't about release anymore, it's about connection. That's when his hands start exploring slower, when his breath gets heavier, when he starts whispering your name instead of random words, because he's finally present. And you did that just by how you moved. The beauty of being the one on top, or the one taking the lead in movement, is that you get to control the emotional temperature. You can take it from wild to soft in seconds. And trust me, that contrast drives him mad. When you ride with fire and then slow down to trace your fingers down his chest, his brain short circuits. It's like sensory overload. In the best way, he's no longer thinking, he's feeling. You become the moment he's addicted to. And here's the secret most people never figure out. It's not how good you are, it's how emotionally in tune you are. He'll forget the moves, but he'll remember that moment when you looked into his eyes and didn't say a word, but he knew exactly what you meant. That's what makes a man crave you, not just your body, but your energy. That's intimacy. Now, K.54, he wants you to take control, but not the way you think. Most women hear that and think it means being aggressive or trying to dominate. But what men actually want is confidence, soft control. The kind that says, I know what I want and I'm not afraid to take it. When you take the lead, even for a few seconds, it tells him something powerful, that you're comfortable enough in your body to express what you like. That confidence is intoxicating, because for most men that's rare. They spend so much time trying to read what a woman wants, trying not to mess up, that when you finally take over and show them, it's a relief. It lets them relax. When you place your hands on his chest and start moving in your rhythm, slow, deliberate, teasing, you're telling him, you don't have to guess, just feel me. And that's when his guard drops. That's when he starts giving you his best energy back. Because when a man feels you taking control with confidence, it makes him feel safe enough to surrender too. It becomes this beautiful dance where both of you are giving and receiving. You don't have to say anything. The message is in your body language. The way you move, the way you hold his gaze, the way you smile when you feel him react, all of it builds anticipation and emotional depth. He doesn't just want you to move for pleasure. He wants you to move with purpose. Every shift, every grind, every subtle pull should feel intentional, like you're crafting a story together. That's what keeps him mentally locked in, because real attraction doesn't live in the body. It lives in the brain. And when he sees you confident, connected, lost in the moment, that's when you own him mentally. That's when you become his obsession. Let's get real for a second. A lot of people have sex without really connecting. It's just friction. But the reason some encounters feel unforgettable is because of emotional energy. The way you move tells him whether he's inside your body or inside your world. When you move in sync, when you let your breathing lead the rhythm, when you hold eye contact even for a second, it's hypnotic. You could be barely moving and still have him begging for more just because your presence is so loud, so undeniable. That's the kind of movement that makes a man talk about, you weeks later. Not the physical details. He'll remember how you made him feel. He'll remember the warmth of your body, the softness of your energy, the way your rhythm told him he was exactly where he was meant to be. Because to a man, that's everything. He wants to feel accepted, desired, and safe all at once. And when you move like that, confident, connected, and completely unfiltered, you give him all three. But let's be honest, none of this can happen if you're disconnected from your own body. You can't move with real rhythm if you're self-conscious or thinking about how you look. Men can sense that instantly. It changes your energy. But when you're comfortable in your own skin, when you're moving because you like how it feels, that energy transfers to him. Confidence is contagious. He starts matching your vibe. That's why when you're in that moment, you have to stop worrying about being perfect and start feeling. Don't move how you think he wants, move how you want and let him catch up. That's what he finds irresistible, because every man deep down wants to be invited into your world, not control it. He wants to feel your pace, your rhythm, your confidence pulling him in. And when you do that, you stop being just another person he slept with. You become an experience, the kind that changes the way he sees intimacy, the kind he compares everyone else to afterward, because no one else makes him feel that level of presence, that level of connection. When you move like that, you're not just turning him on, you're teaching him something about himself. You're showing him that sex isn't supposed to be about performance. It's supposed to be about surrender. And when a man gets that taste of real surrender, he'll crave it again, but only with you. And now we reach the part that most people never talk about, the part that lingers long after the lights go out and the moment fades. Because if you really want to know what makes a man crave you again and again, it's not just what happens during the act, it's how you make him feel after. See, most women think their power ends when the rhythm stops, but the truth is that's when it actually begins. When you know how to hold him, how to read his silence, how to make him feel grounded after he's given you everything, that's when he realizes he's not just physically drawn to you, he's emotionally tied to you. That's what separates a night from a connection. That's the difference between that was amazing and I need her again. Key point vein five. He wants emotional rhythm more than physical rhythm. When the energy between you two slows down, when your bodies are still catching their breath, he doesn't want to feel dismissed or detached. He wants to feel seen. He wants to know that it meant something to you too. That the energy wasn't just chemistry, it was intimacy. Every man, even the ones who act all tough and detached, has a quiet part of him that fears being used. He may never say it out loud, but he hopes that what just happened wasn't just a game. He hopes you felt what he felt, that pulse of real connection underneath it all. And the way you move afterward tells him everything. When you stay close instead of pulling away, when you trace lazy circles on his chest without saying a word, when you let the silence stretch because you're both too content to fill it, that's emotional rhythm. It's the same dance, just slower. It's your way of telling him, I'm still here. It's not about clinging or being needy. It's about grounding the energy, about showing that what you shared wasn't just heat, it was trust. And men, more than they'll ever admit, crave that trust. You can see it in the way his eyes soften after, or how his breathing changes when you match yours to his. It's that quiet moment when he realizes he can exhale around you. That's the real intimacy. That's the part that bonds him to you deeper than any physical rhythm ever could. Because in that stillness, when you're just there, calm, real, unfiltered, you become his peace. And when a man associates you with peace, with calm, with emotional safety, that's when you own his heart without even trying. It's ironic, isn't it? The whole world talks about how to make someone obsessed with you through intensity, how to be wild, unpredictable, passionate. But the secret is actually the opposite. It's in the quiet confidence, the emotional rhythm, the sense that you don't need to chase or prove anything because the connection already exists. When you give that energy, you're telling him, I'm not here to impress you, I'm here to connect with you. And that's magnetic. Think about it. The most powerful moments in intimacy aren't the loud ones, they're the silent ones, the eye contact that lasts a second too long, the smirk you give him when you know exactly what he's feeling. The way you breathe him in like you're memorizing the moment. That's what he remembers. Those are for the fragments that replay in his mind at 2 a.m. when he's trying to fall asleep. And here's something few people realize: men fall in love through consistency of emotion. If he can predict that being around you always feels good, grounded, and safe, no drama, no confusion, that's when his walls come down. When your emotional rhythm matches his natural pace, he starts opening up. He'll tell you things he's never told anyone. He'll show you the side of himself he hides from the world, because the energy between you gives him permission to do so. That's the real art of connection, learning his rhythm not just physically but emotionally, knowing when to lean in and when to pull back, when to be fire and when to be calm, when to let silence speak louder than words. It's a balance, and once you learn it, you'll never have to chase anyone again, because they'll be chasing the peace you bring. So when you're with him, remember this: your power isn't in how much you move, it's in how deeply you feel while you do. It's the authenticity behind every touch, every glance, every breath. It's in the way you let yourself be seen, messy, real, passionate, soft. Men don't crave perfection. They crave presence. They crave the kind of energy that says, you don't have to be perfect around me either. That's what turns attraction into devotion. You might think he wants you to be a fantasy, but he actually wants you to be real. The fantasy fades, the real stays, because the real hits the soul, not just the senses. When he feels that from you, when he knows that every move you made came from genuine connection, he starts to trust you. And when a man trusts you, everything changes. His guard drops, his effort rises, his interest deepens. That's why some women can turn one moment into an unbreakable bond, because they understand that intimacy isn't about performing. It's about translating emotion through presence. It's about staying open, staying soft, staying aware. It's about being confident enough to say with your energy, I know my worth and I don't have to prove it. That energy hits him harder than anything else. So don't just focus on how to move, focus on how to connect. Feel his energy, match his breath, notice his silence, and meet it with yours. Move in a way that says, I'm not rushing anywhere, I'm right here. Because that's when you shift from being someone he desires to someone he feels safe with. And when a man feels safe, he loves harder. He commits deeper. He craves longer. The truth is, anyone can be good at the physical side of intimacy, but very few people can make someone feel through it. When you master emotional rhythm, when you move not from performance, but from presence, you become unforgettable. You're not just touching his body, you're touching the part of him that rarely gets touched, his mind, his emotion, his sense of being wanted for who he truly is. And that's what every man is secretly looking for. Not someone to impress him, but someone to understand him. Someone who listens not with words, but with rhythm. Someone who doesn't rush the moment because she's too busy feeling it. Someone who isn't afraid to be vulnerable in front of him, because that vulnerability gives him permission to do the same. That's the moment he realizes this isn't just attraction, it's alignment. It's two people breathing in sync, two people who don't have to say much because the energy says it all. And when you learn to create that, when you can make him feel both desired and safe in the same heartbeat, that's when you own the connection completely. So next time you're with him, don't think about how to impress him. Think about how to feel him. Think about how to let your body, your voice, your breathing, your energy all speak the same language, the language of connection. Move to his rhythm, then guide him into yours. Let it be a conversation, not a performance, because the real magic isn't in the act, it's in the exchange. And when you can do that, when you can build that kind of rhythm between you two, that's when you stop being just a chapter in his story. You become the part he keeps coming back to, not because of what you did, but because of what you made him feel. Because in the end, that's what men actually want. Not perfection, not pressure. Just a woman who moves with purpose, feels with honesty, and connects with her whole heart. That's how he wants you to move. With emotion, rhythm, and truth. That's how he wants you to thrust, not with your body alone, but with your soul.